Hello, everybody. I've got an inspiration to share something with you today. I woke up this morning and I was reading some text messages. Actually, that's a really bad way to wake up. Oh, wait, but before that, I actually wrote down some notes and I'm going to read it later because it's an in thing, or rather, I feel that, whenever my mind is not in the way, I think I can write a little bit better. And I learned to appreciate my mind for it because my mind is just unaware of the leader of my life. But once it is aware of the leader, it's going to do wonderful things. And I'm on this journey all the time, I know, I appreciate that I have a wonderful mind and it can come up with all sorts of ideas and options and things that I can really work on that I've been acting on for the last many years, okay, for decades. And I'm so happy to be here, honestly, that ever since I started wondering about what else I can give in this world, and not so much about giving to the society, because my friend has asked me before about this, like what's the big deal about you wanting to give to the society and stuff like that. But I mean, I am working to get to know my life purpose and what I want to do in this world as I come here. And it's a journey, so I'm here documenting it, and hopefully whoever who's listening will have an understanding and maybe join me someday, because I feel like I'm joining the warriors in creating another world that seems to be evolving in this period of time. So, I woke up this morning and I did my writings. It was lovely. And I read some messages, and I read that my secondary school and JC friends, they were, selecting some dates, asking us to vote on WhatsApp to, during Chinese New Year to meet up and have fun and celebrate Chinese New Year, right? And I thought about my grandma. She lived a long life. And just last month, I bid her farewell in this physical world. And I always felt that I was really, not too emotional a person to live my life. But when I saw the message, immediately I was teary. And, if I were to talk about being close to my grandma, pretty much there are cousins who are closer to her and love her more. But these things are unmeasurable. We all have our own experiences. So with my grandma, I think Chinese New Year will be the significant event of my life. First time ever without her. To be honest, for the last few years, she has gone through dementia. Just 2 years, I believe. And I thought I already said my goodbye when she forgot many things. Because a lot of times we are just going to the house and she's not really engaging with us. She's just there being irritated that she's here. That I even talked to my friends and asked myself, like, why does she want to keep on holding on? Because she seems to have really lived out her life at the age of 93. And she's also, letting us know that she's very tired of living her life. So I also wondered, so what's keeping her? And the answer came to me immediately. She's just holding the family together. Because every Sunday we will have our meals, and it's such a lovely time because, lovely in the sense that there's beauty in ugliness as well, you know, like we complain and we, you know, do all the normal family things that we are up to. Yeah, but you know, ever since she has really gone, it was such an emotional moment in December, bidding her farewell. She did make, she is the anchor of our family dinners. And I'm happy to share this, honestly, even though I don't look like it. Because it's an aspect of life that many people who are behind the camera or in front of the camera will share less. That, at least in social media, it's all about what's so happy about my life and stuff. And it's not that I'm not happy, because I know that she lived a long life and, you know, she passed on without much heavy illnesses. But there's something about death that is really interesting, you know, about how we have our motivations. And yeah, death is not the only thing. I mean, the reason why I even had this whole idea about sharing this video and stuff suddenly, and I made all this up. I mean, like I prepared the camera and stuff like really fast, as fast as I can, because I really just want to be in the moment to do this. Because there's not a lot of times I feel inspired, and I love to share this with you because it's so human. I'm very happy to also be able to keep on dreaming, keep on thinking about how I can be influential in this world. For what purpose, maybe in another video I will share that. But I'm so happy to be telling stories. And I have, like, you know, took some courage to really move forward from the usual mainstream work 9 to 5 and get back home, try to have a family and stuff. I moved on from there for quite some time, and I'm at this moment where I'm waiting for a full-time role, just to straddle between what I really want to do and also keeping myself practical in paying bills and making sure that, you know, I provide for my family and stuff. But this is all my values. It's not that it's necessary. But yeah, I take on TV hosting, for instance. And not because I just want to be better at presenting this to you, because at the end of the day, if I'm the only one listening, and that's fine too. But it's more so, that's life, you know. There's always this inkling feeling in me that I want to do something more. Do something that is not what I'm doing right now. I used to really blame myself for being so limited with my interests, the time for my interests. Because every time I go deep, I go very deep. Like, I suddenly have an interest about acting. So I take up TV hosting classes, and then I take up acting classes, and I start to watch. And I also took up Korean, right? And I'm not sure where it's gonna lead me. It's not like I'm very sure I want to go Korea and act and be an actress and stuff like that. But I just carry on with what I feel happy about doing. And I came across watching a lot of K-dramas, and of course, there are favorites in the actresses that I see. I mean, Gianna Jun was the one that started off the momentum, where I really feel that the sassiness about her in My Destiny from the Star is so cool, and you know, I carry on watching all the way to Jiri-san, where and Kingdom, where she's gonna be like this, you know, warrior about certain things. So that's really fun. And I move on to Song Hye Kyo. which is a character that I already fell in love with. It was the first K-drama that I watched, Autumn in My Love, in 2000, year 2000. Just because I had a tenant who is Korean at the time, and we just got like rifled about this. And my mom was so in love with the show as well. Then we both watched together and we cry so often, almost every episode about her having leukemia and stuff like that. It's really good. Even though like now that I recollect, it's always about recollecting, right? Where you start to realize that, hey, that was really silly. But she's such a good actress, At the end of the day, she's so yepoyo, she's so beautiful, so pretty, and to be honest, she's really good in acting, like really to her culture. What I understood about acting is that actually in the acting industry, it's very obvious what kind of culture there is in each country. For instance, in Korea, I feel that a lot of acting is so good and so well received in Korea because they also feel the same way in feeling repressed and having a lot of things to express but cannot due to mannerism. And there's such a beauty about it. There's no right or wrong, because in our culture, like in Singapore as well, you see quite a lot of actors and actresses trying really hard because they, most of the time, I do feel that I'm also trying to make money so that I can live in this world. Very high survival rate and also very logical in the thinking. So a lot of practicality comes in it. So in an acting scene in Singapore is really very difficult because there's a lot of concepts to reconcile, So I really admire those who really took the step, the courage to really go into the acting scene in Singapore. Because it's not easy, because everyone in this country is like, hey, do something practical, like why are you doing this kind of thing? Even family may not show a lot of support and stuff. I also feel that I go through a lot mainly because of all these belief systems that I have. It's not really happening, and I'm actually having a good life, right? Being in this house and not starving, there's a million ways to compare yourself. Either you compare yourself to the worst or you compare yourself to the best. At the end of the day, it's not about that, because I truly want to find out what am I here for. I've been through so many things. I've always been very uncomfortable with the number of friends that I have, because I feel like I really want to be alone, but at the same time I want to belong to the society and stuff. It's non-stop. And then while waiting for a job, I really feel like I let my parents down. And there was just this moment where I was just lying on the floor in the living room, watching TV, dozing off, because right before watching TV I was just playing games, Assassin's Creed, and I was just like doing my own things, and I just dozed off, and then my father was like not aware that I'm actually half awake and I was waking up, and he actually shared that to my mom quietly, but he didn't know that, hey, she's doing nothing with her life. And that took me on a toll for several days. And I've matured in understanding that it's not about him. A lot of things that are happening in my life is so that I really figure this out about what I really want to do in my life. Do I want to really stick to societal beliefs and live with the society as it is in the mainstream, or do I really want to figure out what am I really here for? What can I really do? And what can I really feel happy about being and doing that in the meantime it actually serves the world? And this acting has been, this part of me learning to act, dance, to relieve myself, and it's all about opening up. And just now when I mentioned about death, about reminiscing about my grandma, about her having a long life, I'm also very happy actually. about this gene that I'm gonna have having a long life, because I'm really excited about revealing myself to the world. So yeah, I'm really afraid of being worthless. That's the truth about me, and it kind of drives me nuts every time I am interpreting situations to be worthless. Like that moment when my father said, "Hey, she's actually doing nothing with her life, huh?" Yeah, I'm very affected about that. But thank goodness I have matured enough to understand that it's not him blaming me, but it's a message to me to just sit with it, with the belief that I've like conjured in my mind. And if it's not really serving, right, what do I want to do about it? It's so cliche to say it, but I'm sharing it in a way that this is my expression of going through that question. Because all the things that I've been learning, studying, going through, reading, experiencing and stuff, nothing beats my personal experiences. Nothing. Because if I know it as a knowledge that, hey, I have this belief system, let's just change it, like, oh, this doesn't really serve me, let's just like change it. It hasn't been easy for me to do that. Even though I'm highly motivated on the intellectual side, and I love to just like, switch around and basically manipulative. But when it comes to work of the emotional, of the soulful, the mind has not a lot of chance to just change that quickly. Because as I dive deeper and deeper into this understanding of who I really want to be and who I really want to become and how I really want to live my life from this moment on, and if I live the same number of years as my grandma till 93, okay, to round it up, I have another 60 years. I really, really want to live my 60 years as who I am. It's really what I want to do. No matter how the situations are, even if I lie to myself, the pain comes, of course, when I'm lying. Because at the end of the day, there's only this one person, which is me, in the soul, in the heart, that wants to live the 60 years in that way, in this way, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. But alongside, I picked up so many societal references. Okay, I try to keep it loose because sometimes it's really ingrained in me like a tattoo. And I want to let them all go. So logically speaking, it's so easy, right? Once I figure it out, oh yeah, just put it down. And like a computer, like if the mistake is made, you just delete and just enter the whole new thing, right? It doesn't work for me this way. I'm not sure about you guys, but it never worked for me very well. And if I'm able to change that so quickly, it's because it's always on the surface. Always diving deep, right? This is a tip of the iceberg kind of concept. You hear it, you even want to just dismiss it. Okay? But I am going deeper, taking steps, really baby steps, in trying to understand in my heart, in my soul, what the tip of the iceberg means. Because to just sweep it away and I'm just gonna deal with things always on the surface where you can see it. But a lot of things happen when you feel it. When I feel it, like it's uncontrollable, like how I raised the story of how I woke up to remembering my grandma. So I really admire the actresses for really showing their tears and emotions, even though they always have a lot of start again, and NGs and stuff. Because I also worry, if I really want to go into this acting industry, how am I gonna like suddenly cry, especially when they stop me and ask me to do again and stuff. But I start to realize the method acting, one of it by Lee Strasberg, one of the acting classes that I've gone for. You have to have an arsenal of your experiences, and if you don't, I have to learn to live in them. If you know, I've never been pregnant, I've never had a miscarriage and stuff, and if I have an audition for it, then what do I do? Do I just throw away? Well, it could be easier to throw away and look for a character that is more like me, like Lara Croft, and things that are more active and stuff like that, but it's not always going my way, isn't it? And to trust the universe or the system or God or anybody that is part of my beliefs, that this is for me to hone to the skills that I really need to prepare myself. So and I'm really just in a journey. You know, this kind of inspirations that come to me, they are with substance. It's because I took a moment to have some alcohol so that I can relax myself, so that the inspiration comes in, and I recognize it and I admit it, and I really want to be on my own with it. But these are the things that I start to realize why people might be addicted. I read this, I came across this writer, Gabor Maté, and he's written about addiction and how the myth of being normal is and stuff. And he mentioned that, you know, trauma is not just about being kidnapped and you know, being in the worst case scenario like being raped and stuff like that. It's just a moment where the infant or the baby really felt abandoned and loss of attachment, loss of connection, that the trauma begins. So it could happen to anybody. Because interestingly, when he shared about how human nature is, like looking at the Aboriginals and stuff, they are constantly carrying their child. The mother, they're different adults as well, like the siblings or the uncles and aunties, they're constantly carrying them. Who will have a pram in those tribal units, right? And it's like a small group of 200 people who are always caring about you. They are always protective of you, and you know, that moment of attachment is there. And there's no right or wrong. It's not that in this society it's possible right now that you have a mom, because we're all like trying to make our ends meet with a dual income, and if it's like even lucky you can be by yourself, you're also using prams and different machines, you know, to just ease and keep convenience in your life. Or while you're with the baby, you're also checking your phone and stuff, and it's inevitable because the world is so fast paced, right? So it's just an understanding that it's quite easy to be traumatic in this time. And it's a nice thing that I recognize it and I choose this topic to work with, because it's harder when I don't know what I'm going through, but yet I can feel it and I can like totally, it eats me up and stuff. Yeah. There's so many things that I can share. And I'm looking forward to go to Korea in February, because I honestly don't know why I took Korean lessons and like coupled with acting lessons and dance. All this I know because I'm trying to venture into the artistic world and trying to figure out what is it really like living in the beauty of life and trying to express and stuff. It's lovely. But having Korean in mind is more like a geographical feeling. It's like something in between. Maybe I want to I don't know, take advice from Song Hye Kyo, or Gianna Junior, because that gets me really excited, but that's what all fans do, right? So, but yeah, and if I ever meet them, I do want to be able to speak their language and hope to be, in a not in a more warm conversation with them and stuff. These are all the things that I thought of, and it's so nice to share them. Because when thoughts are just in your mind, it just doesn't really go that far unless you manifest it, right? Especially physically. As I work so close towards it, yeah. Close but not close enough. I mean, I wish I was faster, but a lot of lessons have been for me on patience, waiting for the next job and really figuring out if a full-time role is still for me, or am I willing to take the risk to not straddle and just go full on trying to figure things out. That's not me. I've been taught quite well by my father to not just jump but to prepare myself a little bit more in between and stuff. And even then I'm already worrying, it's a mere few months, but still just felt like the need to share it today because it's been so long since I've uploaded and updated myself and you guys that where I am. Yeah. It's a lot of things going on, especially in December when my family and I had to bid my grandma goodbye, and I reveal a lot about myself, being so imploding, never wanting to be compassionate and not make a noise out of things, but in the end I'm just like really raging over what has happened. But a lot of lessons have been learned, and I want to continue walking on. And really, as I log this kind of videos and document them, I don't know much meaning about it yet. But I refuse to go into the mainstream thinking that, I gotta make it more commercial, I gotta make sure I get enough viewers and stuff like that. I'm hardly interested in them. But I am aware that we need to pay bills and make sure that we earn money and keep ourselves alive and stuff like that. But I'm really truly trying to figure out what is the most authentic way to be myself, to express myself, and at the same time being so happy about the life that I have and being able to go around and also live comfortably. As I go to Korea, I also don't want to live like a backpacker right now. I also want to be a little bit more comfortable, being able to ski for weeks and stuff, which is, is going to be very expensive if I do so. Simple things like that, even to the point of wanting to own a Porsche at some point and driving around, knowing that, practically speaking, having a Porsche in Singapore to me is really a waste of money. You can't really speed and stuff, and yet, you have a lot of traffic lights and all, and yet I still want the idea of it, like by spending a few $100K about it. But still, I mean, like, it's still part of my desires because I'm human. Doesn't mean I want to, transcend and be a guru and totally live off like oxygen, water, and food, and maybe a bit of community. But I also want to be able to contribute in a way that I can show my life to be pretty normal, but yet spiritual. Yeah? Thank you very much for listening, and I hope I have so much more to give. Looking forward though, maybe have a nice conversation with Song Hye Kyo or Jun Ji Hyun, that would be lovely. Let's see. Alright, take care, bye.